I'm Ashish Bhargav, and welcome to another episode of Daily News Analysis that we do from Monday to Friday. So, as we know, the newspaper is playing a very important role for any of the students who are preparing for the exam, and as we know that in this YouTube analysis that we discuss, daily newspaper analysis that we discuss about important news from all major newspaper covered in this session. So in daily news analysis that we discuss about national news, international news, economy-based news, sports-based news, science and tech, personal news, summits and conference, miscellaneous, and apart from that we discuss about Supreme Court verdict which is very important for your exam, especially for the CLAT and AILET, and we can say that we discuss about any state initiative, because sometimes you will see in your exam that they will ask you about any state initiative which is like this kind of schemes is launched by which state of India. So that state initiative also we discuss about in this session. So here's the quote of the day: if your voice is high, only a few people will hear it, but if your thought is high, then many people will listen. So to inculcate this thought process, what you need to do, you have to do one thing: you need to develop the way, how to read newspaper and what is the important articles. And just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. That is a thought of the Dalai Lama. And study hard, no matter if it seems impossible, no matter if it takes time, no matter if you have to up all night. Just remember that the feeling of success is the best thing in the entire world. Now moving further, as we have taken initiative the questions of the day, and that questions of the day is very important, because as I told you, to having information about the subject and to solving the MCQs, there are different things. Sometimes you have a good amount of knowledge you have gathered about the particular topics, but you are not unable to solve the MCQs because you trap in such kind of dilemma whether the A option it would be correct, or B, C, or D, right? So among the 4 options, you need to find it out which option would be appropriate, so that we at the end of this session we discuss about questions of the day. Now moving further, daily newspaper analysis that is taken by me, and legal Darpan at 3 p.m. Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Current affairs Samvad, that is 8:30 p.m. from Monday and Friday. Deep dive session again at 3 p.m. Maths Mudda, that is once in a week, and logical reasoning that we talk about in twice a month. And boost your vocabulary session at live at 8:30 p.m. at Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Now moving further, here is the very first news: is deep fake technology, how and why China is planning to regulate it. So as we know that this topic is basically, we can say, in science and tech, and what we need to do, I have highlighted all these parts which is very relevant for your exam. So the Cyber Space Administration of China, the country's cyberspace watchdog, is rolling out new regulations to be effective January 10th. They restrict the use of deep synthesis technology and curb disinformation. So what is deep synthesis is? So if you talk about deep synthesis, which is something we can say that is defined as the use of technologies including deep learning and augmented reality, which means AR. So AR is something we can say quite we can say similar that artificial intelligence. And how it works, artificial intelligence, so that we have discussed many times in the newspaper analysis. So artificial intelligence, that we can say that deep synthesis is defined as the use of technologies and including the learning of augmented reality to generate text, image, audio and video to create virtual scene. So one of the most notorious applications of the technology is deepfakes. And why synthetic media is used to swap the face or voice of one person for another. So deepfakes, that we can say that are getting harder to detect the advances of technology. It is used to generate celebrity porn videos, produce fake news and commit financial fraud among the other wrongdoings. So under the guidelines of China's new rules, so companies and platforms using the technology must first receive consent from individual before they edit their voice or image. So we can say that deepfake technology somehow is very important. Like as we know that the National Crime Record Bureau is having the data as to how to use the person are involving in many crimes. So we can say that what is deepfake? So deepfake, we can say that is the compilation of artificial images and audios to put together with the machine learning algorithm to spread misinformation and replace a real person's appearance. right? So for example, as we can see that to avoid the such mitigations, so government are also planning to do this. And the term deepfake originated in 2017 first, when an anonymous Reddit user called himself deepfakes. So why China new policy curve deepfake? So what kind of MCQ they can form? The first MCQ they can form that deepfake technology started by which of the countries? They will give you the option like China, India, Japan, US, that kind of things. First MCQ. Second MCQ, that the term deepfake was first used in which year? That was 2017, right? So having what I told to you, that got to know the information, that what kind of information is relevant, but you need to keep an eye at that कि like इससे क्या क्या questions exam में पूछ सकते हैं, what kind of question they are possible to ask it. So deepfake technologies has been used to impersonate former US President Barack Obama and Donald Trump, and India Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Facebook chief Mark Zuckerberg and Hollywood celebrity Tom Cruise. So China के new rules को combat किया है use of deepfake to spread disinformation. So why China new policy to curb deepfakes, and why has such a policy has been implemented? Because China की जो cyber space watchdog has said it was concerned that unchecked development and use of deep synthesis could lead to use in criminal activities like online scam or defamation, right? So what are the other countries doing to combat deepfakes? The European Union. As we know that European Union is a group of 29 countries. So almost 80% of the countries is using euro, their currency, right? That is a group of European Union. So the European Union has an updated code of practice to stop the spread of disinformation through deepfakes. So the revised code required, tech companies including Google, Meta and Twitter to take measures to countering deepfakes and fake accounts on their platforms. And the code of practice was signed in October 2018 to online platforms like Facebook, Google, Twitter and Mozilla. So as well as we can say advisor and other players in the advertising industry. And Microsoft ने join किया इसको. Microsoft also joined 2019. So if the MCQ they can form that in which year Microsoft joined deepfakes technology, that is the answer would be here 2019. While TikTok signed the code of June to 2020. सबसे last में TikTok ने sign किया इसे, which is completely banned in India. So it has in 2020, right? So in India, however, there are no legal rules against the using deepfake technology. However, specific laws can be addressed for misusing the tech, and while includes copyright violation, defamation, and cyber felonies. So I hope that you got to know that what kind of MCQs, and you got to know the what kind of things that we need to keep in mind for this article. Now, the challenge of quantum computing. So what is quantum physics? First we have to understand what is quantum. Quantum, which means what? Quantum means what? Quantum means packet of energy. Packet of energy or packet of energy we can say. Packet of energy. So quantum physics, that means we can say that a macroscopic object like a ball or a chair or a person can be at only one location at a time, which can be predicted accurately, and the object effects on its surrounding cannot be transmitted faster than at the speed of light. So we can say that the Indian government launched a mission to study quantum technologies with an allocation of 8,000 crore. As we can say that India supercomputer name is that. So India supercomputer name is that Param. Param is the India first supercomputer. So once we study any topic, so make sure that you need to keep in mind that what is the background of the story, background of the article, and what can be the way forward, and what is the main crux, what are the main things that we need to keep in mind, right? That's why the main purpose is to highlight the important portion so that you can save the time first, and second that we can say that so that you will got to know the what is the kind of articles, and what kind of articles and what kind of things that we need to keep in mind. So quantum physics, that we can say describe reality at the subatomic scale. And for subatomic scales we have to understand that what is an atom. So atom, who discovered an atom is John Dalton. So quantum physics, that we can describe reality at the subatomic scale, where the objects are particles like electrons. So as we know that the atom, our atom is made of three fundamental particles, which is known to be a here is an electron, and then here is electron is revolving around a nucleus, and proton or neutron that is found in the nucleus. So electron contain negatively charged particle, proton contain positively charged particle, and neutron contain chargeless particle. So in your exam they will ask you about who discovered an electron. So electron discovered by J.J. Thomson. J.J. Thomson. Proton discovered by who discovered proton is Goldstein and Rutherford, and neutron is James Chadwick. So atom made of three fundamental particles, which is known to be electron, proton and neutron, right? And once the electron jump to higher to lower atoms, so they lose or gain some energy, and that is known to be a quanta or quantum, right? Pacta of energy. So where the object are the particles like electrons, so here we cannot pinpoint the location of an electron. You can only know that it will be present in some volume of a space with the probability attached to each point of volume. So according to relevant phenomena, an entanglement, when the particles of entangled and the separated by an arbitrary distance of 1000 km is probing one particle. So how would a computer use a superposition? So we can say that the orbit of we can say a quantum fundamental unit of QC, and it could be a particle like an electron, and some information is directly encoded on the qubit. So if the electron is spin up pointing up, it means what? It is a spin pointing down, it means that O, and but instead of being either I or Q, the information is encoded and a superposition, that is 45% and 55%. So I hope you got to know that what kind of things that we need to remember in this article. Moving further, how can mRNA vaccine help fight cancer? So what are the results from experimental trials on a skin cancer patient? How was the trial conduct? How does the mRNA technology work? Are cancer vaccine going to be a reality soon? Will they be affordable? Will they fight other cancers too? So the result of trial, or we can say experimental cancer vaccine built on mRNA messenger's ribonucleic acid platform made by Moderna and MSD. So we can say that have shown promising result. Media announcement claimed last week. So what are the trial involved? So trial, why it is needed for doing the trial? As we know how the vaccine work. So the personalized cancer vaccine use the same messenger RNA, and why most of the vaccine is RNA based vaccine? The reason behind, as we know that in COVID-19 we used a RNA based vaccine. Most of the vaccines are RNA based vaccine. Reason behind, the spike protein of this COVID is required to finish this cells is required the RNA, not DNA, right? So the personalized cancer vaccine use the same messenger RNA technology that used to produce the COVID vaccine. So it allows the body's immune system, and as we know that immune system, not RBC is responsible, that is WBC, white blood cells. So the body's immune system to seek the destroy cancerous cells, and this case melanoma, but the hope that it could lead to the ways to fight other types of cancers too, right? So according to this article, what exactly by Thomas Sachet, the RNA biology, RNA is a therapeutic, was first promoted in 1989. It was first in 1989 after the development of a broadly applicable in vitro transfection technology. A couple of years later, mRNA was advocated a vaccine platform. He says mRNA offers strong safety advantage as the minimum genetic construct. It harbors only the element directly required for expressions of the encoded protein. So the possibilities of using, we can say, mRNA vaccine technology of light cancer just got a boost. So the idea of cancer vaccine has been around for a long time, but the mRNA vaccine technologies and a personalization of the vaccine that it allows provide a lot of optimism. Now moving further, it is not reformed. UN will be overtaken by the other organization. So we have to understand that the G20 nations, so G20 summits that is going to be held in Udaipur, Rajasthan, and what is the slogan of G20? So India is going to host the G20, and the slogan of this that Vasudev Kutumb, and one future, one nation, one future, and one is one more. So let me know in the comment section what is the main slogan of this one. And India permanent representation of UN is that is Ruchira Kamboj, and she's an IFS officer, right? So if they will ask you in your exam who is Ruchika Kamboj, so it is all India women's topper of 1987 civil services batch and topper of 1987 foreign service batch. And so on 21st June 2020, Kamboj was appointed as the ambassador of permanent representatives designated of India to the United Nations in New York. So what is UNSC? So if we talk about the Security Council, United Nations Security Council, the Security Council was established by the UN Charter in 1945. It is one of the 6 principal organs of the United Nations, and the other 5 organs of the United Nations are the General Assembly, UNGA, and the Trusteeship Council, the Economic and we can say Social Council, the International Court of Justice, and the Secretariat. So there are 5 things you need to keep in mind. If we talk about the UNSC with a mandate to maintain international peace and security, it is a centerpiece of global multi-terrorism, and the Secretary General is appointed by the General Assembly on the recommendation of Security Council. So the UNSC and UNGA jointly elect judges to the International Court of Justice. So if we talk about the composition of UNSC, so UNSC composed of 15 members, 5 permanent and 10 non-permanent members. So 10 non-permanent members are, India is also part of non-permanent members. 5 permanent members are just a second. So 5 permanent members are, we can say, China, France, and Russian Federation, the United Kingdom, and United States. And 10 non-permanent members are elected to 2-year terms for the General Assembly. So 5 from African and Asian states, 1 from Eastern European states, 2 from Latin American states, 2 from Western European and other states. So if we talk about Indian membership, India has served 7 times in UN Security Council as a non-permanent members in January 2021. So India entered the UNSC for the 8th time, and it has been advocating a permanent seat in UNSC. 3 more sites added to UNESCO. Gujarat, Vadanagar town, the iconic Sun Temple at Modhera, and rock-cut sculpture Unokti in Tripura have been added to the tentative list of UNESCO World Heritage Site. So we need to keep in mind the first Gujarat Vadnagar town, iconic Sun Temple at Modhera. One Sun Temple is also in Konark. And where is Konark? Is in Odisha. Earlier it is known as Odisha, and now it is known as Odisha. So the Gujarat Vadnagar town, the iconic Sun Temple at Modhera, and the rock-cut sculpture of Unokti. Where is Unokti? Is in Tripura. And Gujarat, we can say Vadnagar town is in Modhera. And the third one we can say is Sun Temple, right? So you have to find it out. So India is now 52 sites on UNESCO tentative list. So the list indicates rich cultural and natural wealth of India and show huge diversity of our heritage. Now we can say, and what is the Union Cultural Minister? G. Kishan Reddy. So Union Cultural Minister is G. Kishan Reddy. What is UNESCO? The full form of UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. It was founded in 1945 to develop the intellectual and moral solidarity of mankind as a means of building lasting peace It is located in Paris, France, and major initiative of UNESCO, that is Man and Biosphere Program (MAB), World Heritage Program, Global Geopark Network, Network of Creative Cities, and Atlas of World Language within Danged. As we can see, here is Red Fort, Taj Mahal, Humayun Tomb, Qutub Minar, Kerala, the National Park, that is in Rajasthan, Khajuraho monuments, Buddhist monuments, they all are in the, we can see, UNESCO World Heritage Site. Navy takes delivery of submarine Wakir to commission in June. The 5th Scorpion class conventional submarine Wakir was delivered to the Navy by Mazagon Dock Shipyard Limited in Mumbai. And it is a matter of great pride for Wakir has completed all major trials, including the weapons and sensor trials. In the short test time in comparison to the early submarines, a Navy said in the statement, a notable achievement is that is the 3rd submarine delivered to the Navy in a span of 24 months. So while we talk about the 6th and last Scorpion class submarine, that is Wakir, so we can say what is the Indian Navy submarines, that we can INS Kalvari, INS Khanderi, INS Sushumar, INS Shakai, and INS Shankush, that we have taken from Germany, and INS Shankul, and that we taken from Kilo, Russia, that is INS Sindhuraj, INS Sindhuskeri, and INS Sindhuraj and Sindhuskeri. Types of submarine, while we're talking about, one is diesel powered, one is nuclear powered, only you need to keep in mind. Upholding the autonomy of Election Commission, as we know that over the course of November and December, Constitution Bench of Supreme Court of India heard a crucial case about the method of which the Election Commission of India is constitute an election commission, we can say appointed. So at the time of writing, the court has resolved the judgment. What is the expert on early in the new year? The issue before the court are straightforward, but with the, we can say, reaching ramification of Indian democracy. So we have to, as we know that our Indian system is working as in legislature, executive, and judicial. So we have independent judicial system and executive, which means that we can say Prime Minister is working as an executive head of the government, and executive head of the nation is, we can say, President of India. So what is the work of legislature, which is Parliament? Make laws, and unicameral House of Legislative Council, bicameral House plus Senate. House of State, President and Monarch, and head of government is Prime Minister. And judicial system, as we know that the Supreme Court of India, and then we can say, and including judges of various law courts. And now we need to understand that we have independent judiciary system. New scanners to speed up security check at airports. So BCAS. What does mean BCAS? It means that the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security was initially set up in January 1978 on the recommendation of the Pandey Committee. So the main responsibility of BCAS are to lay down standards and measures in respect of the security of civil flights at international and domestic airport in India. Right? Lok Sabha members demand stricter law of curb drug abuses. So strict law enforcement, better rehabilitations centers, and more export complex for students were suggestion that was made by the Lok Sabha. That the no outcomes till now, so only we need to keep in mind something has been discussed. Until unless there is no outcomes has been issued by the Parliament, that we will not discuss in detail. And now it's time to questions of the day. As you know that questions of the day is very important because you got to know what kind of question that are possible to ask. So here's the very first question. The principle of common but differentiated responsibility or respective capabilities often talked about in media refers to what? First, reduction of greenhouse gas emission, contribution of United Nations peacekeeping operations, contribution to International Monetary Fund, none of the above. So the principle of common but differentiated responsibility and respective capabilities often talked about in media refers to what? So as we know, it is for the reduction of greenhouse gases emission. So the principle of common but differentiated responsibility and respective capability establishes the common responsibility of states for the protection of global environment, but in addition it also lays down different standards of conduct for development and developing nation. Moving further to the next question. Clean development mechanism was first introduced in which of the following international agreement? So there are many agreement has to be signed to the curb the pollution. So one is Montreal Protocol, Rio Summits, Paris Agreement, and Kyoto Protocol. So clean development mechanism was first introduced in which of the following international agreements? It was signed in the, we can say, Kyoto Protocol. So clean development mechanism and joint implementation are two project-based flexibility mechanism under Kyoto Protocol. Moving for the third one. Here we now talk about DNA and RNA in this today article. So the process of copying genetic information from one strand of DNA into RNA is termed as transcription. Bacteria contain only one RNA, messenger RNA, and do not have the tRNA, transfer RNA. Make sure you have to find it out the directive word, and here is the word is incorrect. Make sure before solving the question, make sure what demand of the questions, whether they are asking about correct or incorrect one. Only the second one is the answer, so B would be the right answer. So process of copying genetic information from one strand of the DNA into RNA is termed as transcription. In bacteria, there are three major types of RNA: messenger RNA, transfer RNA, and ribosomal RNA. So all these RNA are needed to synthesis of protein in a cell, and the mRNA provides the template. tRNA brings amino acids and reads the genetic code, and mRNA plays a structural and catalytic role during translation. And there is a single DNA dependent RNA polymers that catalyze transcription of all types of RNA in bacteria. And RNA polymers binds to promoter and initiates transcriptions. And here the fourth one. Following is the best description of INS Murumagao that was news recently. Amphibious warfare submarine, nuclear powered submarine, stealth guided missile destroyers, nuclear powered aircraft carrier. अभी हमने just discuss किया. So as we know that Indian naval ship INS Murumagao was commissioned recently. It is second warship of P-15B class of stealth guided missile destroyers built by Mazagon Dock Shipyards Limited (MDSL), named after it has been named after a key port in Goa, which was commissioned a day before the Goa Liberation Day celebration. And the ship class describe a group of vessels in similar tonnage uses capabilities and weaponry. The last question is Tons, Giri, and Baghin are what? Right bank tributaries of Yamuna, right bank tributaries of Brahmaputra, left bank tributaries of Yamuna, and left bank tributaries of Brahmaputra. So Tons, Giri, and Baghin as are tributaries of Yamuna. So left tributaries of Yamuna is Hinjan, Hanuman, Ganga, Sasur, Kaderi. And right wing tributaries are, we can say, right tributaries of Yamuna is Tons, Giri, Baghin, Chambal, Betwa, Sindh, and Kain. So guys, this is all about the session. I hope you enjoyed the session a lot. And today there is deep dive session at 3 p.m. that will take by the Hema ma'am. And please come at 3 p.m. for the live session. And we can say to that we have discussed all the major things in the newspaper article. So stay tuned at 11:30 a.m. and from Monday to Friday, right? So we discuss about all the important news and state initiative. Stay tuned. If you are new in this channel, please subscribe the channel as well, and do not forget to press the bell icon so you will get the notification of all the YouTube session. Thank you so much for joining with us. Bye bye and take care. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time. Stay tuned. Bye bye and once again take care.